Hey, this is part 2, the legendary SP-1200 from EMU. And so today, I hope you've watched the first part where I go over, how the machine works, like the user interface in general, kind of you get a good feel for how it works. And then I also kind of shared my thoughts about how the limitations of the machines really like get you in a creative space. Anyway, today we're going to sample from a record. I got a record here. It's an old Peggy Lee record, and what I'm going to do is to go to sample mode up there. So again, you have the button and a bunch of numbers. Here you only have 9. One is a view mode, so this allows you to kind of preview. You see here the levels. All right, so I'm going to go back. All right, so I'm here. 2 is assigned voice. This is where you're going to sample. I want to sample on C1. Sample C1, press enter. Now it tells me which channel you want to output to. 7's fine. Enter again. So now it's like ready basically to sample. One thing I do, you can say sort of like arm the sampling, which is 7. This allows you to like wait to sample, and all of a sudden when this sample like the sound starts, it'll record. I sort of like to pick up the sample by pressing force sample, which is 9. And so yeah, I just force it when I want to hear it. So here, let's see. I know it's going to go right away. What I'm going to do now is actually sample it really fast in +8. So you can save. I'll show you how that works. Basically, because you only have so many seconds, right? You can sample actually a fairly long thing, 2.5 seconds. But if you sample something that's faster, then you can then of course sample more seconds. You slow it down later, so it goes doom 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 doom, which might be over 2.5 seconds. Let's do that. Let's do. So actually, I just let it run out of memory. It's so little memory in there anyway. So when it's done, check this out. It says sample is good. Sample is good. The way it works basically, if you clip your sample, if it goes too loud, right? So it just says sample is not good. All right. So now sample is good. Press my sample button again, or I say go to segment mode now. All right. So sample is here on C1. However, you hear that if I press the button, if I tap, then there's a little bit of gap. So that's my fault. Well, it's not my fault. The point is, this is because I said, force sampling. I didn't wait for it to. So I did that, and I just basically wasted some memory. Now we're going to go into 19, right? So setup, 19, truncate, C1, enter. So now, boom, boom, beginning, end. Now I can go. You see that? The beginning, I almost have only the end. So now. You hear that? It's very short still, right? Because we're gonna slow it down later. It won't sound so bad. But what we're gonna do is I can go back to the vinyl and wait for that, and then I sample ding ding ding, right? So then you basically chop it yourself by going back and recording more stuff. You can't just like cut a piece and move it to another pad. It's not like you can't do auto chop and stuff like that. But it's okay. You go back and you listen to the vinyl, and maybe you find more samples that are more interesting, and you sort of go back and delete the first one. It puts you into this creative mode that's very different. So here, I'm going to remove the rip, right? So you see that? The last one, I just want to really trim that little rip out. Dum, 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 dum. That's fine. And it would dream. I just removed those. So now I'm good. I can say enter. Do you want to make this permanent? Yes. And it waits and waits and does it. It took like what? 3 seconds, 2 seconds, not a big deal. Come on. Let's just be patient for a minute, people. All right, so now I can go back to segment mode. Listen to this. Hey, that's hot. All right. That's good, that's good. Now I can record, watch this. Push record, run. Ta, ta. Okay, so now watch this. This was not good. What happened is I was in tune mode, right? So I could go ding, 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 ding. When you start recording, what happens is it kicks you out of tune mode. Press erase, this one, yes. So I just pressed erase, erased my, the notes I was doing because, you know, they weren't exactly what I wanted. Just press record again. I'm gonna start the sequence again. And what I'm gonna do is go to Tune Decay right after because it kicks me out. Let's switch to it. Ta, ta. That's it. That's it. It's what you do. And one thing is, you don't have, so you hear that sample. Let's say I wanted to muffle it a little bit, like you saw maybe in my other video, the part 1 for MPC 2000 XL, where I used the filter of the MPC to go like, you know, like really muffle the sound, which is a classic. You know, listen to things again. You know, Ski Beats and all these people did amazing stuff where they just like muffled the sound on using, often it was the S950, which is a rack sampler. Or if you have the Emax from EMU as well, it has a really great filter. But anyway, so no filter here, but the EQ on my mixer is actually really good. The Toft ATB16. They don't pay me for this, by the way. I bought this mixer and stuff. But anyway, so if I use the EQ, you can do quite a bit with it if you have a really good EQ. So I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm turning on the EQ on there and like really just cutting a lot of stuff. I'm gonna boost bass, low mids. Let's see. My love. Okay, thanks for watching part 2 of the SP-1200 series. Please like and subscribe. I'd love to engage with all of you. Please ask your questions regarding the SP-1200 in this video. You can also ask me any questions you have about music production. I'd like to cover very basic things and also as advanced as I can. I'd like to learn from you as well if you have ideas. Thank you so much for being here, and see you in part 3.